This is Hammett.
And Jessica.
And you're listening to Friendly Atheist Podcast. Please go to patreon.com/Friendly Atheist Podcast to support the show. Get your ad-free bonus episodes and video podcasts if that's how you like to watch your stuff.
Hi.
And next week, quick reminder, will be not a normal episode. It'll be our annual year in review.
Garbage year in review. Friendly Atheist staple for almost a decade now.
And where Jessica reminds me of all the things I've tried to forget over the past year.
And this is going to be an interesting one because I really had my head in the sand about current events all year. So this is going to be a surprise probably for both of us.
Excellent. So this year we're going to try to get through as much as we can. And then hopefully nothing will happen for the next week and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I got an update for you from Oklahoma. Yep. And it involves that conservative student who received a 0% on her religious essay.
This has been, I've gotten
still news.
More mileage out of this story among my friends than almost everything we've covered.
I mean,
it's so much fun to tell people about.
It's everything we talk about, which is religion and academia, and it's everything in one. So I won't go through everything because we've talked about this before, but I will give you the rundown of what this story was.
Okay.
The short version is the student, her name is Samantha Fulnecki. She was supposed to write a response for a psychology class, a response to a scholarly journal article. And instead of grappling with anything it said, and the assignment's rubric was loose enough that you could have talked about damn near anything, as long as you could show you were talking about what was said in the article. Not the headline. I mean, like, quote things from it. Tell me what's wrong with it. Tell me what you think about it.
This isn't a junior high. This is how you analyze the news. This is academic rigor that we're looking at.
Right. And instead, she turned in a 4-page sermon that basically went no more in depth than this headline says this article is about trans people, gender identity, things like that.
Think they're stupid.
And I have read enough. And she used her essay to lash out against trans people, promote traditional gender roles. She even suggested that bullying kids was sometimes warranted.
And for me, I can't explain. I always focus on the wrong thing. But for me, the worst part about this is that she didn't even cite the Bible.
Never cited the Bible.
You can
never
cite the Bible as your source if you want to, but you got to give me chapter and verse. You got to get those citations in. And she was just like, the Bible says this, and I believe it.
And the big takeaway is clearly there is no evidence in your 4 pages that you read the paper. That's
brought in another
problem.
Scholarly piece, which was part of the assignment.
But like, you had to at least reference what the paper was talking about. And then if you want to say the paper's wrong because of the following, I think this, here's how I'm justifying it.
Yeah.
Fine. That's what the rubric said you could do. But the teaching assistant for that class gave Fulnecki a 0%
correctly
because of that. She didn't respond to anything the paper said. You didn't do the assignment. Yeah, your religious beliefs are odious.
Yeah.
However, that's not why you're getting a 0.
That's not our problem right now.
The graduate student, the TA, Mel Kurth, who happens to be trans, told her via whatever their internal discussion method is that your beliefs are not why you're getting a 0%. The score is a 0 because, and I'm quoting here, the paper does not answer the questions for this assignment, contradicts itself, heavily uses personal ideology over empirical evidence in a scientific class, and is at times offensive.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, and Kurth even said this. If you personally disagree with the findings, then by all means share your criticisms, but make sure to do so in a way that is appropriate and using the methodology of empirical psychology as aligned with the learning goals in this class.
Honestly, it's sort of the equivalent of us going to a church and being like, technically, if you cite your sources on this, nobody could ever turn water into wine. So it's like, that's not what we're doing here. We're not deciding whether or not water to wine is real. We're doing religion. And
Right. We're in a science class. You're doing a sermon.
Yeah.
That's not what the assignment was. And instead of just accepting that she's not good at the school, like Fulnecki whined about her grade, not first to the professor, not to the
it's so
TA.
good.
She sent an email to the governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, the university president, the dean of her specific college, several reporters.
News outlets. Ugh, that's my favorite
the
part.
anti-teachers union group now headed up by Ryan Walters. So like sends it to them like, guys, we have a problem. I got a bad grade and I need you all to do something about it.
And I said got in it. So I deserve an A.
Yeah. Republicans then turned this, what should have been a minor incident, because guess what? People do fail assignments in college. That's how school works.
Yep.
They turned it into a full-blown spectacle. They're still, as of today, talking about it on Fox News because they love stories of Christians who
still
fail
talking
up.
about it?
I'll
What?
tell you why in a second. But basically, Fulnecki also, after she contacted all the Oklahoma people, she also filed a formal discrimination complaint as if she was being punished for being a Christian in Oklahoma.
It's so embarrassing.
And she filed an academic appeal. And within like a day or two, the TA, Mel Kurth, was put on administrative leave while an investigation was taking place.
That is the true villainy of this, is that a TA who, like, God bless TAs, they do not
Seriously.
have a great run of life at this particular moment.
And this TA in particular was like, I don't know why you are owed an explanation, but the TA went out of her way to say, here's why you're getting a 0.
Both the TA and
another person who's
person
teaching that class was like, I agree with everything Kurth said.
did more emotional labor and wrote more thoughtfully in their responses to her essay than she wrote.
Yeah,
in
they
her
put more time
primary.
and effort into their response
To
to
be
why
sure.
you got a 0 than she ever did
We
on
read
her
it.
essay.
If you weren't here a couple weeks ago, Hemet did read it in full, and it made me extremely happy.
So now, the reason we're still talking about this is because the school has just announced the results of their investigation.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Uh-huh.
Merry Christmas.
Here we go.
Oh, boy.
They wrote a lot, but let me get to the heart of it. Because the student went through the grades appeal process, made a claim of illegal religious discrimination. As already announced, and this was announced earlier, the grade appeal was decided in favor of the student, removing the assignment completely from the student's total point value of the class, resulting in no academic harm to the student. So they said the 0 you got, we're tossing it out, doesn't count for you only.
Do they have to explain why?
I don't know.
Okay.
But they said, okay, you appealed your grade. Students are allowed to do that. And we agree with you. So no 0 for you,
Cool.
which is dumb, but also, all right.
She's going to grow up and be a nurse and accidentally kill somebody and be like, it was Christian persecution because this person found out I was Christian and died on me.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
And they're going to be like, the death doesn't matter. We're wiping that death from the boards.
The death certificate has been wiped from the record. This
There's just
person
a
never
shredder.
lived.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the bigger thing. The claim for discrimination has been investigated and concluded. The university does not release findings from such investigations. At the same time of the investigation, the provost and the academic dean reviewed the full facts of the matter based on an examination of the graduate teaching assistant's prior grading standards and patterns, as well as the graduate teaching assistant's own statements related to this matter. It was determined that the graduate teaching assistant was arbitrary in the grading of this specific paper. The graduate teaching assistant will no longer have instructional duties at the university.
This fucking cunt.
Uh-huh.
Seriously?
Uh-huh.
She got a trans TA who lives in Oklahoma fired?
Basically. Now, here's the thing that they have not explained. Okay, the TA is not teaching this class or any other class. That's what I took away from that. As far as I know, they're still a grad student doing their work toward the PhD.
But isn't that part
on
of
campus? And they're just saying, we're going to allow you not to teach classes as if they're doing Kurth a favor. But as far as I know, Kurth is still at the school as a PhD student. Or maybe, I don't know exactly where in the academic world.
Do you think this girl is going to sue her way into a PhD?
I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second, too.
Oh, yeah?
But the idea that the university is basically openly admitting here, academics takes a back seat to like faith-based aggression. There were the university also said The University of Oklahoma believes strongly in both its faculty's rights to teach with academic freedom and integrity,
Counterpoint.
and its students' rights to receive an education that is free from a lecturer's impermissible evaluative standards. We are committed to teaching students how to think, not what to think.
So
Kurth did not have impermissible evaluative standards.
I'm so
We
mad.
read the rubric last time. It wasn't that complicated. And no other student, as far as I could tell, had a problem with it. Just this one student.
oh my God,
But
this
not
is an
only-
episode of Black Mirror. I need to wake up from it.
Not only will Fulnecki not get to toss out that failing, she does get to toss out that failing grade.
And
Kurth
she
doesn't
ruins-
get to teach on campus, and who knows what other repercussions there are. Like, Republicans always complain about DEI, even though they can't tell you for the life of them what it actually is. But this is what they've been decrying. This student is getting a pass despite being unable to do the work. This is the thing Republicans accuse women and people of color of doing
Constantly
all the time
doing.
when it's not happening.
Constantly.
And here it is happening right under their noses, and they're like, she deserves medals.
And I don't want to let go of the fact that this idiot is in school on a tennis scholarship. If I
Was
remember.
there on a tennis scholarship and is no longer on the tennis team, and I don't know why, but separate story.
So I don't know. Maybe we take sports too seriously in collegiate life. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't use dumb tennis players to fill out our ranks instead of, like, I don't know, a single smart person who can string a sentence together.
Right. The university has now given students
Fucking
a blueprint
furious.
to avoid getting a failing grade. Just stick Jesus in whatever assignment you do. 3 plus 4 is Jesus. And if anyone gives you hell about it, you can complain and all will be forgiven. Apparently invoking Christianity as a get out of jail free card for students who can't do the assigned work. And a TA who dares to take the job seriously has now been punished for giving a student the grade she deserved. Now, to answer your question, is there litigation involved or whatever? Kurth has an attorney, and that attorney issued this statement.
Kurth is the professor, or the
TA. My client, Mel Kurth, received notification from the University of Oklahoma that an investigation determined that she engaged in arbitrary grading of a student's paper. Miss Kurth continues to deny that she engaged in any arbitrary behavior regarding the student's work and is considering all of her legal remedies, including appealing this decision by the university.
Good.
Which, fine.
Also, get your ass on fucking Rachel Maddow. You think that,
No, here's the difference. Left-wing media outlets do not give a shit about the story, and I don't blame them. This is not the biggest story in the world.
I mean,
it's a story for us. It's like not for MSNBC or whatever they're calling it.
I think, though, at this, if the school had made like a sensible decision, then it would not be a big story. But this is a story about censorship, about academic censorship, and not allowing teachers to do their job, which is to fucking these aren't third graders.
The message to professors at this school is that if you flunk a Christian for anything, you're going to get fired.
Yep.
I don't know what good an appeal will do at the university when it seems like the cards at this university are already stacked against her. But I mean, this was always about accountability. It wasn't religious persecution. And Fulnecki is refusing to accept any responsibility for not being good at school. Like, she didn't fail because she's a Christian. She failed because she's a bad student.
Because she's a dum-dum who can't do an assignment.
Like, there's no indication she read the article, understood anything it said, or could form a response that did not involve parroting right-wing talking points. She could have done that if she referenced the article and then said, here's why this is wrong, cite sources, whatever. All we learned from her essay is that she's not prepared for the work of psychology, much less higher education, much less a medical career, which is what she said she wants to do.
I keep thinking about the thing where she, like, in one sentence, both says that bullying is good to enforce gender norms, and also nobody has ever had to enforce gender norms. It was one of my favorite parts. I might get it framed. I might cross-stitch it.
There you go. There you go. The only person who behaved with any integrity in any of this is the TA, and that's the only person who got punished. Like, if Fulnecki had the ability to be introspective and thoughtful, she would admit, look, I don't know how to write a response essay. I appreciate that my professor gave me thoughtful feedback, and I will work hard to earn a higher grade in this class. And then she would urge her right-wing allies like Turning Point USA to calm the fuck down. Of course she's not doing that. She's doing the Riley Gaines approach of, I got 5th place, and you know whose fault that is? Everyone else's but mine.
Yeah. Have we Do we have a sense of like her GPA, or have we had eyes on any of her other work? I'm
Nope,
just
and I
dying
don't
to know
care,
if she, I kind of did. I'm kind of curious if
Like,
this
is she
like
this bad everywhere?
Yeah, or is this a one-off that she was obviously baiting somebody into something, or has she been skating through life like doing half-ass work and just nobody feels empowered to say no, or nobody has the time and effort?
I don't know. I had not seen this earlier, but apparently she did an interview shortly after the essay went viral for being really dumb.
Being terrible.
She did an interview with Griffin Media's Matt McCabe, and McCabe seems fine, but like they did like a 20-minute interview with her, posted it uncut online. And one of the things that was in there, I'm going to quote Fulnecki directly here. Okay. Because he said, like, tell me how you wrote this paper and stuff. Like, was it hard to write or whatever?
No, it wasn't.
Here's what she said. I'm going to quote.
I was half asleep.
I'm going to quote her exactly. I was actually just telling this story earlier. I was at my good friend. I was at her house, and we were about to go to a musical that OU was putting on, or a play. And I was like, "Oh, I have to do this assignment really quick. It'll just take a second." And then I read the topic, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be so easy. Like, I have a very strong opinion on this topic." And then I wrote it in maybe like 30 minutes. It was really easy for me to come up with things to say. Here's my takeaway from that. It took her 30 minutes to write this response paper. At no point did she say she read the actual paper.
Or, yeah.
She just...
I want to know what play they're going to see.
Yes, it was the gayest musical you've ever imagined. I'm sure
I hope
it was.
It was like Cats.
Like Mike Pence going to see Hamilton. At no point did she say she read the paper, which is what people like us have been saying the whole time. That's the problem here. She just saw the headline. It said, "Oh, it's about trans and gender stuff. I got this covered."
It should have taken her 30 minutes to find a second source.
Right.
It
would have taken 30 minutes to read the actual paper.
And listen.
Not write the response to it.
You don't know anybody who procrastinates more than me. And even I would never have admitted to anybody how quickly I wrote some of my papers.
I know.
I would never admit that, because then they would know that I'm a scammer.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, I use Google Docs for some stuff when I'm working with students. And occasionally you can see, like, in the edit history, oh, hey, this entire paragraph was not there, and then 2 seconds later, the whole paragraph was there.
Oh, interesting.
Which is weird, because it looks like ChatGPT. And you know what I mean? It's like, I know what you're doing. You think you are not going to get caught with this? Like, that's the thing. I believe that she just whipped out the 4 pages really quick.
Yeah.
But she is admitting that she didn't actually do the assignment.
Yeah. And that's what we've all known.
Yeah.
And the thing is, she doesn't feel like she needs to hide that.
Yeah.
Because she's been proven correct.
Anyway.
I have asked all of my work.
That's Samantha Fulnecki, your next vice president. So just get used to that.
Imagine, I saw on the internet, imagine being such an idiot that your students protest about you not failing a class. Like, you wrote an essay so
students
bad.
Students at the University of Oklahoma were protesting at the school in defense of the TA, in basically saying she doesn't represent, like, we're smart, we do the work, don't let her define us. Which is also like, God, if you get a degree from the University of Oklahoma now,
it means nothing.
It means nothing. And I would be pissed off too if that's what someone at my school is like, I deserve everything because I didn't do the work and I got a 0, and how dare anyone give me consequences.
I'm dying to hear what right-wing people genuinely think about this.
Oh, what they're saying on Fox today, as we are recording this, is that she was being persecuted for her Christianity.
But no. I'm talking behind closed doors, when you're having a glass of wine with your partner and you're like, you need to read this pile of garbage. Like, the way people hate Trump behind closed doors, but kowtow to him in person.
We talked about this when we discussed her essay. Even Turning Point USA, which like broadcast all this, the comments on their Instagram thread were, this paper is garbage. Yeah. Like, I am a conservative Christian. That's not a good paper.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the hill you want to die on here.
And yet we're all dead.
And yet, yeah. Anyway, that's your update.
Oh, Christ. That fucking sucks.
I hope there's a lawsuit coming from Kurth. We'll see.
Yeah, that has to.
All right, let's talk about something totally different. Let's talk about Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of, what do you want to call it? Defense, War? I don't know
I don't
anymore.
give a shit.
To make sense of what he just did recently, which to me is a big deal, you need to know a few things about military chaplains.
Ooh, I don't want to know.
You do. Okay.
I don't care.
First, you do. First, back in August, the Army released a spiritual fitness guide, which is like an updated version of something that's been around forever. And basically what this is meant to do, and look, my eyes are rolling too, but here's what they're trying to do. There are soldiers. They want to help soldiers develop a sense of purpose and mental resilience.
Before they're murdered.
That too. And what they're doing is they're telling chaplains specifically, like, look, you are there to provide comfort to these soldiers. There are plenty of soldiers who want to talk to somebody about things they're experiencing. You're basically counselors for them. That's fine. I respect that. I'm fine with that profession. I like that the military has chaplains. I'll get to my criticism of that in a second.
Okay.
But like that in itself is not a big deal. So they released this spiritual fitness guide. I don't like the idea of it because it suggests you need to have spiritual fitness.
It sounds like a Boy Scout assignment.
Yeah, really. But I will say that 112-page document, it doesn't directly promote Christianity. The only thing I don't like about it is it works off the faulty premise that religion gives you inner strength and it's inherently good. It doesn't really go out of its way to say, by the way, you don't need religion. I wish it did.
My dog gives me inner strength.
That's exactly the point. Like, religion can give some people that strength.
Yeah.
But a lot of people find it outside of organized religion or the supernatural. In fact, in 2011, when the Army surveyed members to assess their spiritual strength, they did this in 2011. Atheists actually argued, how dare you imply we are unfit because we're not religious? Like, that was a big deal.
That's a fair point.
They had meaning and purpose in their lives, they argued, and it didn't arise from spiritual faith. So why are you trying to assess our spiritual strength? Because we're going to get a low score on this assessment.
Sure.
And you're suggesting there's something wrong with us because of it. And that's a fair criticism. And they haven't done enough, in my opinion, to counter that.
So, okay, wait, I might be a little confused. So it's not like individual analyses. Is it just like we're taking a survey and we think that people who have these features are
like,
more...
You got to be physically strong. You got to be mentally strong, but you also got to be spiritually strong. And the most they've done is they've tried to back away from saying like, you need Jesus in your life to be spiritually strong. Now they're like, you need some higher power. It's very much like the Alcoholics Anonymous list. You just need a higher power. I don't care how you define it, but you need something that you are living for, that sort of thing.
So it's just like, what are they doing with this information, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
They're not using it against people who don't have it.
That's what I'm wondering, I
But
guess.
mostly they're saying, we want you to be well-rounded in this sense.
Sure.
And so, hey, chaplains, you are here to give this spiritual strength to people. Okay. Now, I will say there's one paragraph.
Still, but I think we need to keep going.
Here's one paragraph in the document. And this paragraph is important, so I'm going to read it.
All right.
From an operational perspective, the soldier's source of strength fuels their purpose and will to fight. For some, the centerpiece may be God, family, community, or patriotism. For others, it may stem from a desire for personal growth, integrity, or the bonds formed with fellow soldiers and shared experiences.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Like, that's actually a very well-written point. Like, yeah, if you get your strength from God, all right. And if you don't, fine.
Yeah.
But like the whole book that's one paragraph in a large book, right? Okay. So I wish the entire manual worked off that premise instead of just having one paragraph, but that is the guide for you. It's not the biggest problem in the military, but that is how the U.S. military treats religion.
Okay.
Like, it's a net positive for everybody. Okay.
Fine.
Second thing you got to know to make sense of what Hegseth did. There is a chaplain corps in the military. Fine. That's all their chaplains. But they purposely exclude humanists and atheists. Like, you got to pass a certain bar to be a chaplain in the military. You got to have academic experience. You got to get an endorsement from like a religious organization that says, we trained this person to be a chaplain. They passed our things. And so that's your recommendation. Like, you can't just walk in there and say, I'm Christian, I want to be a chaplain. No, you got to, if you're a chaplain in the military, it's because you did a lot of work to get there.
Okay.
And yet, And by the way, they have a diverse coalition of chaplains. They're not just Christian chaplains. They have chaplains from other faiths too. But the couple problems with that is, well, guess what? There are humanist organizations that train chaplains from a humanist perspective, just as rigorous as something you would find from some church or seminary. And yet even people who are qualified as humanist chaplains, which are not just awards you get handed out freely, they are not allowed to be chaplains in the military.
And is this new or is this...
This has been going on for a long time.
Okay.
In fact, one of the arguments that was made maybe starting a decade ago, if not more, is that the chaplains who are in the military, the religious chaplains, quote, are not adequately trained to ensure that non-theistic service members are receiving the support they need.
Okay.
So, like, there are atheists in foxholes. There are non-religious people in the military.
Sure.
They have emotional needs that they would like to talk to someone about, too.
Sure.
The problem is the chaplains are not trained to help them without speaking in a religious language.
Sure.
It is possible that a good chaplain could say, oh, you're Christian? Let me help you out. Oh, you're Muslim? That's fine. Let me speak your language. Let me help you out. Same thing with other religious backgrounds. But they're saying, yeah, but they're not doing the same thing for non-religious soldiers.
Which, I mean, is just kind of an argument that they should just have therapists or counselors. Like, why does it have to be this, like, specific role? Shouldn't they...
This is the role they have, and...
No, I understand. But, like, if we're talking about, are some people excluded or some people included, well, maybe we should have a thing that does not discriminate.
Based on religion.
Yeah, is agnostic of your thing.
Yeah.
And, like, because therapists... counselors, things like that, they can also speak to you in a language of religion or not. Like I don't know.
I agree. That would be much better. And yet, here's where we're at right now. They have a lot of chaplains, but if you're exclusively a non-religious chaplain with all the same credentials, you're not allowed in the fold.
And I guess looking down into like Florida and things like that they're trying to replace counselors with chaplains, I guess the military is probably not going to buck that particular trend.
The thing you're talking about, where in some red states, they're like, let chaplains in schools, their criteria for what you need to have to be a chaplain is much lower than the military. Like, you might need an endorsement from an organization. And like humanists are saying, well, we got some of those. We got endorsements we give out. Satanists are saying, we have our own criteria.
Sure.
We give out endorsements. And if you allow this, we're going to have some satanic counselors at your disposal, chaplains ready to go. But like the military says no to that anyway. By the way, in 2013, there was a proposed congressional amendment to the must-pass defense bill that happens every year that said, let's add non-theistic chaplains to the chaplain corps. It was rejected. And in fact, when it was rejected, that amendment, one Republican even argued, and this was a story at the time in 2013, if atheists are allowed to be chaplains, they're going to be going to the homes of families who have dead soldiers, and you got to inform the family that their loved one is dead. And they're just going to say to these people, hey, your loved one is now worm food.
That is how we talk.
That is how we talk.
That is how I talk to people who die.
Just a gross thing for a Republican member of Congress to say.
I was genuinely going to ask, like, how could they be anti that? But they're just dum-dums.
They're just dumb. They make shit up. But that was the Republican argument for why you shouldn't allow atheist chaplains in the military.
Good. Perfect.
Yeah. Anyway,
Great
that's the
job.
second thing. Third thing that you got to understand is that over the past decade, to their credit, the military has tried to become more welcoming to people outside traditional religions. And one of the ways they've done this is by allowing soldiers to accurately describe their beliefs. So before 2014, you have to, like, when you register, when you enlist, tell us what religion you are. You know, and the number of faith codes you could use to describe yourself. Your options were basically Muslim, Hindu, Wiccan, Jewish, Buddhist, or one of more than 100 Christian denominations. If you were
but there's one for Jews.
But if you're non-religious, your options were atheist or no religious preference. That was it.
They didn't
before
give you
2014.
agnostic?
Nothing else. Now, people argue, they're like, atheist is one element of it, but like, I'm so much more than that. And that seems like, I mean, this is a common conversation in our world, which is what label do you want to use? Humanists will tell you, atheist is one answer to one question. Humanist tells you what I do believe in. I'm a secular humanist. Guess what? That's not an option for you. So after 2014, they did expand the list to include humanist, which is nice.
Okay,
I mean,
thank you.
that change actually made it easier for some non-religious soldiers to also gather in person as a group of humanists and have access to some of the same perks that religious groups received. Because sometimes you can you can rent meeting space for free to meet with other humanists. If you have a day off, they will allow you to go to like a special church event.
Yeah.
And if you don't go, like maybe you have to stay behind and do work. But like if you're part of a humanist group, you can say, oh, we have an alternative gathering for humanists. You can't do that if you're an atheist. You could if you belong to a faith category. And now they had one of those. Now, in 2017, the military expanded the list again.
Good.
And this time they included a lot more stuff. Now they included heathen, deism, no preference.
Deism, in case the founding fathers show up.
In case. No preference, no religion. Like, they just expanded the spectrum of non-religious labels.
I love no preference and no religion or options.
Separate.
That's great.
Whatever it is that works for you. The goal is accuracy, with the understanding that if you want to ask people where they belong on the spectrum of non-religious thought, it's not as simple as saying like, I'm not.
You're right.
Like there are a lot of denominations of Christianity and the members of those various denominations will tell you this label has meaning to me, even if the rest of you don't get what's different about it.
Right.
Well, guess what? There's a difference between humanist and deist and agnostic. And if that's accurate for you, fine. Go use it. So this is where we're at. The military has always treated religion like a net positive for good soldiers, but they have used language that has become less overtly Christian over time. At the same time, they have become more open to the diversity of thought in an increasingly non-religious country.
Sure.
Okay, so that's the background you need to know.
Oh my God, that was just
This
the background that's in the story?
Here's why. Because Pete Hegseth saw all this, and now he's like, I'm going to fix this problem.
Oh, good. Our best guys on it.
So basically, Pete Hegseth posted a video last week saying he's going to overhaul the entire chaplain corps because they're not religious enough for his liking, and he specifically targeted the spiritual fitness guide.
Okay.
He also said, hey, that list of faiths and beliefs that you have, it needs to be simplified. And I'll give you excerpts. He made like a 4-minute video. Here's the excerpts. For about 200 years, the Chaplain Corps continued its role as the spiritual leader of our service members, serving our men and women in times of hardship and ministering to their souls.
He said continued?
Sadly, as part of the ongoing war on warriors in recent decades...
That's pretty good, war on warriors.
In recent decades, its role has been degraded. In an atmosphere of political correctness and secular humanism, chaplains have been minimized, viewed by many as therapists instead of ministers. That's one thing.
Could he hear me? Did he hear me say that they should be therapists?
He said they are being treated as therapists, and they shouldn't be. They are ministers, damn it. Then he says, that spiritual fitness guide, here's another paragraph. If you need proof, just look at the current Army spiritual fitness guide. In well over 100 pages, it mentions God one time. That's it. By the way, that's in the paragraph I read to you.
Okay.
It mentions God one time. That's it. It mentions feelings 11 times. It even mentions playfulness, whatever that is, 9 times. There's 0 mention of virtue.
Is he okay?
The guide relies on New Age notions, saying that the soldier's spirit consists of consciousness, creativity, and connection. The guide itself reports that around 82% of the military are religious, yet ironically, it alienates our war fighters of faith by pushing secular humanism. In short, it's unacceptable and unserious, so we're tossing it. I have a directive right here that I will sign today to eliminate the use of the Army Spiritual Fitness Guide effective immediately.
Oh, they're just trashing it?
These types of training materials have no place in the War Department.
Okay.
Our chaplains are chaplains.
The Department of War. Get your own fucking thing right.
Our chaplains are chaplains, not emotional support officers, and we're going to treat them as such.
Wait, what does he think chaplain... What? What does he think chaplains
what is he talking
do?
about?
What
No,
is he talking
nothing.
about?
So let's go through some of what he said. First of all, to say that the role of chaplains has been degraded because of secular humanism is just funny because secular humanists are not even allowed to become military chaplains.
Like, who are you talking about? Who are you yelling at?
It's also a lie to claim chaplains can't do their jobs properly because they have plenty of leeway to meet soldiers where they are at. The complaints I talked about are sometimes chaplains don't understand where I'm coming from, and so they can't really speak to me. I wish there was someone who understood my non-religiosity so I could actually get some emotional help here.
Oh, no. That's the problem is you have feelings, and this
Right.
isn't about your feelings. This is about your faith, which is different than feelings, and it's about your spirit, which, again, different from feelings.
Hegseth also said they are prevented from talking about God, but that's not true. Good chaplains are supposed to be able to minister to people outside their own faith background as well. Hegseth made it sound like the spiritual fitness guide was tying the hands of religious chaplains from doing what they think is best. There's no evidence of that whatsoever.
This reeks of he just discovered this thing and used Control F to see how many times it said God in it.
Literally, that's what he did. He searched for terms like playfulness, but he didn't.
She's smart. She's a smart girl.
He didn't even talk about how playfulness was used. Do you know what it says about playfulness?
What could it mean?
Yeah. Here's what the spiritual fitness guide says about playfulness. This was in a section about creativity and why it's useful for chaplains.
Okay.
Playfulness, as a component of creativity, embodies the spirit of exploration and joy in overcoming challenges. In a military context, playfulness is essential for soldiers as it allows them to engage in training and problem solving in a way that feels less rigid and more dynamic. It also gives them a space to relax and enjoy life. When soldiers embrace playfulness, they not only enhance their creativity, but also solidify their understanding of life through positive experiences. They're not saying, hey, soldiers, go on the seesaw.
Right.
They're literally saying, oh, hey, this is a nice word to use to say, we want you to be creative and adaptive.
Yeah.
And if that helps you out, that's good for us in the military because you're thinking outside the box.
Well, and also you're plunking these 19-year-old kids thousands of miles from their home and expecting them to just be mindless automatons and just do their thing.
What the military will tell you is that's not what we want. We want you to help us get better. And that's the thing. By the way, Pete Hegseth talked about the New Age stuff. When they talk about consciousness, creativity, and connection in the spiritual guide, it's alliterative, but it's not New Age in any way. What the manual says is, what makes a good soldier? A good soldier is someone who is, quote, aware of and able to evaluate one's thoughts, feelings, and surroundings. That's consciousness. They're able to, quote, generate novel ideas, approaches, and solutions that reflect individual expression and innovative thinking. That's creativity. And they're capable of building bridges with the people around them. That's the connection bit. That's it. That's what the 3 C's are. But Hegseth, knowing full well that MAGA loyalists can't read, just wants to do away with all of that. Which for no reason.
Fine, I guess.
There's a commentator named Rick Pidcock who writes for Baptist News and is really good about this stuff. He wrote, apparently, Hegseth doesn't think soldiers need to be aware of and able to evaluate their surroundings. He also doesn't seem to think soldiers need to be healed because healing and awareness equate to secular humanism in his mind. He pointed out, Pidcock did, that there are 1,500 active duty chaplains in the Army, another 1,500 National Guard and Reserve chaplains, over 800 in the Navy and Marine Corps, over 500 in the Air Force, and approximately 600 in the Air Force Reserves and Air National Guard. And he writes, what does Hegseth think these thousands of military chaplains are doing then? As usual, he seems to think they're all woke. What Hegseth seems to ignore is that the U.S. military already has a robust chaplaincy program that serves the needs of service members of all faiths or no faith. Evangelical groups such as the Southern Baptist Convention are significantly represented in that corps. And by the way, I happen to disagree that they properly serve people of no faith. That's what I talked about. But you're right. There's a bunch of chaplains. They've had this system in place for a long time. There are experts in the military whose one job is to handle this stuff. And again, There's a lot more they could be doing, in my opinion. But to say that they don't know what they're talking about is bullshit.
Well, and also when we look at, if you like take one step back and realize that the horrible experiences so many of our service members have when they come home, they have untreated PTSD or can't like readapt to their own life. Like the suicide rates of ex-service members is astounding. And so maybe the solution isn't to take away more support, but like, who is this for?
Right.
If you're he's attacking his own people at this point.
It really is. He acknowledges that 82% of the military is religious, which is the number given in that spiritual field guide.
18% is no laughing matter.
He apparently wants to ignore the 18% who are non-religious.
Of your soldiers, you're like not good enough.
And also he's saying the 82% are alienated because of some non-existent push towards secular humanism, which doesn't exist.
And you can't alienate 82% of your population.
Yeah.
It's just not how alienation works.
Yeah. By the way, Hegseth also said the following in his speech.
Idiot.
In his video. That's why in my direction, we are also simplifying the faith and belief coding system. In recent years, it ballooned to over 200 overly complex faith and belief codes.
Most of those are Christian.
An overwhelming majority of the military population only uses 6 codes. 11 are not used by anyone. We're going to streamline it and move it to a new list of religious affiliation codes so that our chaplains can actually use it to minister better to the flock.
What is going on?
Think about that one for a second, too.
What the fuck is he talking about?
He's saying that when you have codes like deist and whatever, non-religious and no preference,
the chaplains are so stupid they cannot.
What is this? I don't know what to do with this. But like, if anything, having less specific information to work with is going to make their jobs harder. Because I don't really know where you're coming from.
I don't know.
They want to eliminate an expansion of religious codes that took over a decade to approve for the simple reason that people like Hegseth cannot handle complexity of thought. It's stupidity for the sake of stupidity.
Is there nothing else going on in the Department of War? Then he has to focus on some spreadsheets?
No, it's this and blowing up ships in the Caribbean.
What?
The weird thing is Hegseth, I am hardly pretending I know anything about the military, but Hegseth really doesn't understand the military despite whatever experience he has in it, because the one thing you're supposed to do in the military is defer to the higher ranking people who are supposed to be the experts.
That's its whole thing.
That's kind of the whole thing. And he refuses to listen to the people running the chaplain corps. And his only solution is, let me destroy what you built. So instead of deferring to military leaders, he's just imposing his idiotic will because he always assumes he knows best.
It's been less than a year of this.
Yeah. By the way, the American Humanist Association and the Humanist Society, which is the group that endorses humanist chaplains, this is what they said in response to his video. Hegseth's broadside against the Army Spiritual Fitness Guide, including putting scare quotes around, quote, faith traditions he doesn't recognize or value, is an attack against any member of the military who doesn't practice his form of conservative Christianity. Hegseth tries to hide this by attacking secular humanism, but the irony is that despite the fact that certified humanist chaplains serve Americans every day in hospitals, prisons, and college campuses across the country, they're not allowed to serve in the military. And finally, they write,
facts are so inconvenient.
The truth is that Hegseth doesn't care about strengthening the practice of chaplaincy or the spiritual well-being of the military. He wants to do what he's always done, treat his position as a pulpit and push his deeply conservative Christian nationalist belief onto the troops.
Yeah.
And by the way, last week when he made this video, he hosted a Pentagon Christmas worship service that also featured evangelist and hate preacher Franklin Graham giving a speech where he can be heard, and I'm paraphrasing here, saying, you know, they say our God is a God of love, but, quote, God also hates. And that his God is a, quote, God of war.
Oh.
So, you know, loving.
Are these people okay?
No.
Have I told you about my theory, my latest masculinity theory?
Go on.
Is that there's a whole subset of men in this country who think that, like, war is the only real thing in the world. That's my latest theory.
Okay.
They believe everything, it should either be getting ready for war or mimicking the reenactions of war because because anytime
and if you're not reenacting it every weekend, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, it's just I just have this idea that they think everything, like cleaning your house is stupid and pointless, like talking to your kids is stupid and pointless, going for little fucking walks, boo. All I want to do is like collect guns and think about how if my house got invaded, how I would protect them Home Alone style. Like
nice,
it truly feels like that's what there's a huge subsection of men who think their only job is to like be violent.
Yeah. And I get, why would you want to enlist in a military that really doesn't give a shit about who you are?
Oh, because you get to shoot brown people. And that's what they are interested in.
Look, I've talked to plenty of people who are in the military. They're not joining because they want to join a religious crusade or because they want to hurt brown people. Like, it goes against the best case scenario of why people join the military. And what he's doing makes us weaker as a country, and none of these people in the Republican Party care as long as they get to like cosplay as
that's what
warriors.
I'm saying. Of like, they don't actually care about your everyday life. They care about marching and putting on uniforms and waving flags and pretending to kill people or killing people. Like that to them is what real life is. I think that
in Hegseth's view, yeah.
I think that's what, like, a lot of cops feel the same way of like, oh, I'm not going to help an old lady cross the street, but like if there's a gangbanger on my street, then I'm going to spear tackle him. Like, I truly think
that gang member is 8 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So brave.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, that's my latest theory. Let me know what you think. I know you will.
All right. Different story here. Different type of story.
Okay.
You have heard that there's been a push by conservatives in states like Texas, Oklahoma, to get chapters of Turning Point USA in every public high school.
Which you need students to be interested in first.
Right. Like Ryan Walters did this before he disappeared. Texas, they've done this too, where they're just like, we're going to make sure there's a Charlie Kirk group in every high school. And it's like, no one was stopping that from happening.
Yeah.
If students want to form a club and their school allows clubs at the school, you're allowed to start like a right-wing group as long as you do the paperwork.
This is what the founding fathers
who want to join.
Had in mind when they said small government. They're like, we definitely want everybody to make their own local decisions, except for this garbage group that needs to be in every public school in America.
But like
Besides George Washington.
Every public high school has a policy for launching new clubs. They cannot discriminate based on viewpoint. That's why when you see like a Bible club at school, guess what? They could also have a secular student alliance group. That's why the Satanic Temple has had their after-school Satan clubs, because they're like, well, the school allows Bible clubs.
Back in my day, we had
too.
the GSA, the Gay Straight Alliance.
Sure, right. And the reason those clubs are allowed to exist, even in red states and red areas, is because if they have clubs at all, the school cannot say no to a club based on viewpoint. So no one was stopping a conservative group from forming at any of these schools.
Right.
But these states, these red states are like, we're going to make sure every school has one. And every school district's like, yeah, we weren't stopping you, but no one wants it.
Do you go here, sir? Like, sir, you're 54 years old. Are you saying you're a sophomore who wants to form a group?
I was looking, is there any evidence of any of these groups ever getting denied? And the answer was like, it happened maybe once or twice, but it's because they didn't fill out the paperwork correctly. It's always that. But in any case,
that's how Satan gets you.
In any case, in California, there's a town called Lincoln, California, and their high school, it's called 12 Bridges High School. Some students there did launch one of these clubs, and the high school version of Turning Point USA is called Club America, because of course it is. And so they had their first meeting like a month ago, and they invited the mayor of their town because they knew she was conservative.
Okay.
So that makes sense. For what it's worth, in Lincoln, California, they have a city council and they rotate who is mayor, and you have a certain amount of time when you are mayor. So the lady they brought in,
adorable.
A lot of cities do it.
I love that.
And so Holly Andriata,
it's Tuesday, it's my turn.
pretty much. So Holly Andriata, who has been on the city council since 2018, she actually just finished her second stint as mayor in that time. And so they invited her to speak to them. So none of that is weird. But this was the first meeting of their conservative group. And so when she was there, they had a big crowd because people want to see what this group is about. What is she going to say, etc. And it turned out one student decided to record what she was saying. And Holly Andriata did not know she was being recorded, even though from like the videotape, it's like, how do you not know there's a phone just staring at you right now the entire time?
Uh-oh.
So that's weird.
And you said we're in California. Where in California
Lincoln,
are we?
California. I'm not sure where geographically that is, but there you go.
I'm just going to look it up.
So anyway, she was speaking to them. For what it's worth, if you look at Holly Andreatta's bio, it says she's an ordained minister with the Assemblies of God.
Oh.
She's also a pastor at Lincoln Christian Life Center.
Oh.
She's an adjunct professor at Epic Bible College and Graduate School.
It's near Sacramento.
Okay. And
So
now
Central
she's
Valley.
running to become the, I think, Placer County Supervisor. So
Okay.
she's leaving city council to run for slightly higher office. I'm not sure what a supervisor does.
And she's also a pastor, you said?
She is a pastor at some churches nearby. Okay, fine. She's big in the conservative world.
That's fine.
Over there. Now, some student took video of this whole thing. The
nervous.
Sacramento Bee published 6 minutes of excerpts of the 30-minute speech.
If the Sacramento Bee's on your ass, you are in trouble.
Right. And among the things she said, here's the first part talking about race.
Oh, no. No, it can't be race, Heaven. I thought it was going to be gay kids.
Oh, we'll get there.
Oh, no.
She talked about race. And I think someone had asked her, like, Charlie Kirk said some racist stuff, didn't he? Like, what do you say about that?
Like immediately before he died?
Yeah. And here's what she said.
Oh, no.
When you say you have to have 50% black pilots and we need to get it done now, then what do you need to do to get that larger percentage? You have to lower the standards. ...
Oh, no. Deep misunderstanding of how everything works.
In a lot of industries, they did. In the pilots in the industry, they did say 50% black pilots. They did say that.
Did they, Hemet?
I looked it up.
Okay.
She's lying. Here's what happened.
It's weird because I believe black people make
the
up
way,
like 30% of the population, so it seems unlikely.
I think the thing they were referencing, Charlie Kirk once said on his podcast, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Correct.
And the best case interpretation, not that he deserves it, is that his gut reaction if he saw a black pilot is that person's probably not fit for the job.
Mm-hmm.
They probably got there because of some like affirmative action thing.
Which is hysterical because white men have been clobbering all over this country for 200 years as if they were the only people who have ever been qualified to do anything.
Right. If I see
like,
someone,
she has a skirt, she definitely can't do physics.
Like if I see a Christian woman who has a diploma from the University of Oklahoma, I mean, I'm going to be like, okay, here's what actually happened.
Yeah.
In 2021, United Airlines, and I'm paraphrasing here, they said, normally if you want to become a pilot, like a commercial pilot, they usually take people from the military who are no longer from the military. But United Airlines had launched their own training academy. And they were, I think, the only airline to have done this. So they were like, we're running low on pilots.
Sure.
We need more pilots. So we're launching our own school. And they had done this prior. But they said, we plan to train 5,000 students in our aviation academy. And we're hoping to have 50% of graduates be women or people of color.
Oh.
They said this in a press release, and I know it's a press release, but what they were saying is, and I'm paraphrasing here, like what's the biggest barrier for people who want to become pilots, but they don't become pilots? What's the thing holding them back?
Yeah.
Usually it's the money. You can't afford to go to flight school.
Yeah.
Well, working with different companies, they said, we have found a way, like if you are admitted to our program, your tuition will be basically covered.
Oh.
So like we're hoping this takes away that barrier.
Sure.
And now we want you to come through our flight school. And yes, we are hoping that 50% of our graduates are women of people of color. But obviously, and they made this clear, like you still got to graduate.
Right.
You still have to go through all the necessary requirements.
Because they're going to fly a plane.
Right.
And I think United is in the industry of keeping their planes in the air.
That would be the hope. And again, the company specifically saying
recent things happening, maybe
the company was saying we're trying to overcome the barriers that traditionally keep groups out of our profession. So by casting a broader net and by providing financial aid, they were hoping to fix a very real problem in their industry. Because guess what? If you could train, let's say, X amount of students every year, you have a younger, newer fleet of pilots who can take the place of the ones who really want to retire right now, too. That's good for their business, too. And if there's an untapped market of potential pilots who could do the job, it seems smart for an industry to say, let's make sure we're also getting their best pilots too. You got to go through the training.
Yeah.
But that's it. So
but Hammond, you're forgetting that those people aren't white and they don't have penises. And so I'm not sure how they're supposed to just fly a plane.
What Charlie Kirk said, what Mayor Andreatta said is just, well, if there are more minorities being hired as pilots, the standards must have been lowered. She said that because she's racist.
Which is insane because look at the people running this country. Are they even close to the smartest people in the country? Not
like
even in the
current
neighborhood.
Government is proof that merit doesn't count.
Not even in the same zip code as the smartest people in America.
By the way, she also said, separately from that issue, but also about race, she's still on race, a lot of research has come out that Martin Luther King was a Marxist and that he was a socialism. That is what she said. And she added, a lot of the civil rights things that he advocated for were not really helpful. I wish she would have elaborated on that one.
That's so good. Do you know what's funny? Is literally yesterday I'm still reading that J. Edgar Hoover book and was reading about the MLK assassination and the subsequent, them looking into it. And it's, boy, oh boy, these people have such a... And what does she know what a Marxist is?
No, and this is the thing. Republicans love using buzzwords like socialist or Marxist, but they never want to define the words. Like, if you're criticizing wealth inequality, as Bernie Sanders does all the time, as Zoran Mamdani did during his campaign, or demanding that the government ought to fix structural inequalities, they're going to call you a socialist. They're going to call you a Marxist. And it's like, this is what you're scared of? Really?
Do you want to hear a garbage opinion J. Edgar Hoover had? He said that the nonviolent kind of protest that MLK does was actually just as bad because it drew in people who want to do violence to them.
Oh, clearly.
So that's how J. Edgar Hoover saw the world. But actually, after the assassination, apparently he put every resource at his disposal and because everybody knew he hated MLK and he was like, I am not going to get caught with my pants down on this thing. Nobody's going to pin it on me. So I'm going to send every person I've ever met to find this motherfucker.
There you go.
Anyway, he did.
By the way, after she said Martin Luther King was a Marxist and a socialism, you could hear a child on the video like, what? It was funny. I don't know who that was, but it was caught in the video.
Very funny.
What else did she say? Then here's what she says about gay people. You're waiting for this. Here's the quote, and she got in trouble for this one too.
Oh, not the
rest of it. Just, this part specifically.
Cool.
My oldest daughter had a lot of trauma as a child. Something really terrible happened to her when she was young that I would hope never would happen to any other child. And as a result of it, she's a lesbian. She's gay and she's married to a woman. I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. I believe that scripture is very clear on homosexuality. But
what happened to her daughter?
Don't know. Doesn't matter.
Was she sexually assaulted by a trusted man in her family?
Don't know. But as a result of it, she's a lesbian. And then she says, here's the other side. But on the other side of that, I love her dearly. We are in relationship. And that's what Charlie Kirk's message was. It's like,
I want to meet this woman's daughter.
We'll get there. It's like, we may not agree. My daughter knows where I stand biblically, but I love her. We're actually going to spend Christmas with her in Missouri. We love her and they have a child and I love my grandchild and I love my daughter-in-law, which is weird to say, right? My daughter's married to a woman, but it is the reality. I don't know why that's weird to say. You're allowed to love your daughter-in-law.
Well, I like that she just said daughter-in-law. Isn't that weird? Like, no, because I'm somebody's daughter-in-law.
Right. Like, whatever. What happened to her daughter as a child is not the reason she's a lesbian.
It's not the reason she's a lesbian. And also, golly, dollars to donuts. I'm going to tell you that it was a dude who did it. Like, I don't know what to fucking tell you, lady.
What she is preaching.
What are you saying? Are you doing anything to help make sure future lesbians aren't born out of the trauma that your kid was? Like, are you doing anything to fix this huge lesbian problem that you're having in the Sacramento area?
I don't know if she knows this, but you can have a perfectly fine trauma-free childhood and also grow up to be lesbian.
True. Also, her daughter moved to Missouri. So, like,
from California.
Which Sacramento, whatever. But, like, your daughter took pains to get the fuck out of there and into the Ozarks.
She makes it sound like she deserves a prize for spending time with her granddaughter,
No, she doesn't.
despite
She's a cunt.
having a lesbian daughter.
This woman in 3 years is going to have no relationship with her daughter or her grandchild.
She also, like, she's echoing what pastors say all the time, which is that homosexuality is the result of sexual abuse. Like, they say that all the time. They also say atheism is people become atheists because someone in the church hurt them. And it's like, maybe, but also that has nothing to do with it.
I mean, sitting
You
as
think
we
logic
are
had nothing to do with it?
the day before Christmas Eve, truly one of the most stressful times of the year for almost everybody, including myself. And like, I like my family. I get along with my family. It's still very stressful to spend several days with them. Imagine that you have a family member over who, like, you fucking know is like, who do you think is the man in the relationship?
Yeah.
Do you think she's the man or the woman?
Yes.
I saw her wearing a skirt the other day, but the other one has long hair. I don't know.
Right. Here's a different excerpt from the speech.
Yeah.
There's an individual in Placer County that she's a very lost soul. And my friends, we pray for her, and she likes to trash me online. I'm not concerned because what she does is she takes things out of context. This is not the most...
Who is this person?
Rando. Like, it's... The only reason I point that out is to say she's getting criticism because obviously she has a lot of dumb beliefs.
Yeah.
But also look at how she's reacting to it. That person is a lost soul.
Lost
no
soul.
wonder you're getting criticized. Also, I find it hard to believe that she said this person takes things out of context. I'm listening to you in context. You don't sound good.
What do you think they say more? Take things out of context, or I guess that's probably their favorite thing that they do is take things out of context.
A couple more excerpts. She said,
Yeah, hit me.
Do you know Christian nationalists and all these names? That's just a name that the left made up to silence people.
God, I wish we were better at silencing people because you motherfuckers are
Seriously.
so loud.
Like, look, no one cares if you're a politician who happens to be Christian, like whatever. But if you think your faith should dictate how people outside your religious bubble ought to live, and you're depriving them of medical care or marriage licenses or forcing them to treat your religion as the default, you're a Christian nationalist.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
And frankly, kind of a dick.
Yes. Now, here's the last, I think, almost the last bit.
Oh, boy.
Now, just let me clarify. We need to love everybody. We do not need to discriminate.
Except for
You
that
may
one
not-
lost soul.
You may not agree with somebody's lifestyle, but we love them and we're kind to them. ... Don't let the world or politics or the left put a label on you to silence you, all right? You have to. And you also need to fear God.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
I swear, if we treated conservative Christians the way they treat everybody else, they would explode.
Oh my God, they would lose their
couldn't take
goddamn
it.
mind.
Like, they do discriminate.
They would call them a
They
Marxist.
don't love others. They're not kind.
Also,
They just
sorry,
think they are.
She's taken the really cool historical stance of being anti-MLK. What a neat way to live your life of like, oh, MLK actually
Yeah.
he did win a Nobel Peace Prize, but actually
This is all
he's a Marxist.
By the way, again, the Sacramento Bee published a 6-minute excerpt. This is
God
all
bless.
from the excerpts. By the way, then there was a student in the class,
Yeah.
not someone who's a member of this club, but showed up to the meeting,
Love
the first
this.
meeting, who's like bravely raises her hand
I love her.
and wants to ask a question. I'm going to read her question because this is kind of incredible. I think she was saying Charlie Kirk was welcoming, like he didn't make anyone feel unsafe.
The mayor was saying
The mayor
that?
was saying
Okay.
this. The student says, also, I hope you understand that things that Charlie Kirk said would make someone like me, who is a genderqueer, pansexual socialist,
Oh, boy.
feel unsafe. I feel unsafe because of some of the comments that he made about women. I understand you said, please don't take this out of context. Really quickly, at some point, someone asked Charlie Kirk during a debate, like, he doesn't want, he's against abortion. He doesn't want any exceptions, even for young women. And someone asked him at some point, what if your own daughter was 10 and she was impregnated by someone? Like, do you want her to ruin her life? Or like, would you be okay with her getting an abortion? Kirk's response was, I don't want her to get an abortion either if that horrible thing were to happen.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
essentially what that conversation was. This student says, I understand you said, please don't take this out of context. But when he was asked, Charlie Kirk, when he was asked if your 10-year-old child was raped and there was going to be a baby made out of it and both of them are going to survive, would the baby have been born? And he said, yes. I hope that can make some people pause, because that would be an incredibly... If that happened to me at 10, I feel like my consent would have been completely lost. So I hope that there's an understanding here that as much as we don't want to disagree, there's a lot of feelings of unsafetiness because of just this club and just so much ... To which the mayor says...
The sweet kid.
Right. To which the mayor says, there's nothing unsafe about this room. And I understand what you're saying with Charlie, but again, I think maybe ask yourself this question. Do you feel unsafe by some of the things he said? Because that's what ... like the left said about him. Here's what she actually said. Maybe if you actually spent some time actually listening to what he said, as if we didn't understand what Charlie Kirk's beliefs were.
This is all we've been doing for 6 months is thinking about and talking about what Charlie Kirk said. What the fuck are you talking about? We don't have to take him
out of context to make clear that his beliefs were really horrible. Like they were shitty within context too.
He was a bad person who believed bad things, and sorry, that's your legacy.
Right. And then, so that was another excerpt. Well, last excerpt, apropos of almost nothing, from the mayor. I even respect people who are atheists.
What?
Although I think it takes a lot more faith to be an atheist than it does to believe that there's a higher power and a creative designer, right? But of course I respect other people. To which a student says, what do you think about separation of church and state? And do you value other religions as well as atheism? You understand.
How fucking smart are these children?
Yeah. You understand that they're the same value as Christianity and Catholicism. To which she says, and I'm only quoting a little bit here, she says, I'm not Mormon, but I love them. I just spoke to a whole group of students in the LDS church. I have a lot of friends. I respect what they believe. Separation of church and state is a myth, okay? It's not in the Constitution. Our world has flipped up and tried to say that there's no place for faith in the public life. So just to summarize here.
Cool.
She said atheists require more faith than Christians, which is bullshit. It's been debunked. It is funny when Christian apologists say that because it's like, you know what the problem is? Faith. Atheists have too much of it. But also, it doesn't take extraordinary faith to dismiss ordinary bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm also more concerned about an elected official claiming church-state separation is a myth.
I mean,
because like I did a control F in the Constitution. It's not in there, but that's how the Establishment Clause has been interpreted for decades.
And also,
separation of church and state doesn't mean there's no place for faith in public life. I know that because they shove it in our face all the time.
Constantly.
What we're talking about is when the government treats religion or Christianity specifically as the only game in town, like putting up a nativity scene outside City Hall. And the fact that this mayor or former mayor doesn't understand this or willfully chooses not to is why she shouldn't be in elected office.
Yep. I just this habit that conservatives have of speaking to only the people like them. Do you know what I mean? Of like, it's always an us versus
like JD Vance speaking this week to the MAGA crowd where he's like, hey, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. That's a thing he said. It's like, it's not a thing that happens.
I don't think I've ever apologized for being white.
Well,
Should I have it? I'm so sorry.
Every day to begin this podcast, I demand an apology for what you have put me through.
What is the matter? They're so stupid.
So, honestly, if you ever needed a reason to defend having these conservative clubs, this is it. Because they created a platform that lets the public see who's not worth listening to.
No, truly, like sunshine's the best disinfection, right? Like don't let these people and their garbage opinions hide. Get them on the record. Have the Sacramento Bee call your ass out.
So she spoke this month to the club. And right after that, coincidentally, there was a scheduled school board meeting. And she happened to be at that meeting too.
Okay.
And people were pissed off because they had now read these articles. They had heard what she had said.
Really?
And they were furious. And
so people actually cared correctly?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I will say the club's president, the conservative club's president, his name is Garrett Culp.
This is a student or a teacher?
Student.
Okay.
Garrett
Culp?
Yep.
Love that.
He attempted to defend the bigotry by pretending this is all part of respectful dialogue like Charlie Kirk wanted. And this is what he said. My purpose with Club America is to host and create respectful dialogue and to uphold the principles of American exceptionalism and Christianity. I am not a hateful person, nor is my club a hateful group. While those topics and opinions may be uncomfortable for some people, I assure you that they are not hateful.
Wait, sorry. He skipped a sentence. He said,
he?
we're not helpful or we're not hateful.
Right.
But if those topics make people uncomfortable, he forgot to...
He said, while these topics may be uncomfortable, they're not hateful. But like, look, you've had one meeting for your club, and if your response is,
and
you
you're
guys,
on the
we're
news.
not, and we're not hateful, you guys. My dude, it's been one meeting. Maybe your club is the problem here.
If you have,
I've never launched a club and then had to do a mea culpa right after. Like, you guys, you're misinterpreting I talked about genocide.
I've never created a club so bad I ended up on the fucking news.
Right.
Like how bad do you have to fuck up?
And it's also wrong because, yes, it is hateful to say being gay is the result of childhood trauma, and it's ignorance to pretend that's not what's happening. It's factually untrue.
Could you imagine your mother saying that about you? My kid, my little sweet little girl. Oh, are we going to hear from the daughter?
We're going to hear from the daughter.
I can't wait.
But this kid, Garrett, guys like this don't care about what their rhetoric does to their classmates because they don't care about anyone but themselves. The issue is not discomfort. Talk to a high schooler. They have uncomfortable conversations all the time.
Being a high schooler is uncomfortable.
Yes. Conservatives just act like being cis, straight, white, and Christian should be the default. Yeah. And that if you threaten that hierarchy, somehow it needs to be corrected. And by the way, shortly after Andreatta's speech to the club, the Sacramento Bee spoke to a student. This is what they said. Senior Rebecca Warner, who identifies as a lesbian, did not attend the meeting, but was approached by one student leaving the meeting who made a hurtful comment about her sexuality.
Cool.
Quote, one student told me they learned that God was working on me because I have endured a trauma causing me to become gay, she said. Taken aback by what I had been told, I listened to the full audio of the meeting and was hurt by what had been said.
Yeah.
Unquote.
This is her mayor.
Yeah. Now, Warner and two friends, who both asked to remain anonymous due to concerns about their safety on campus, are petitioning the school to remove the club. They said that Andreatta's rhetoric was inflammatory enough to embolden students to say racist or homophobic things.
Sure.
And the thing is, if a club is actively promoting hate, that's a reason a high school could disband it. That's not a First Amendment thing.
Right.
The school has rules about what clubs are allowed. Yeah. They can't discriminate on viewpoint, but if your club is doing something hateful or bigoted, they could draw the line. I don't know how that'll play out. Yeah. But if you disparage people of color and LGBTQ people in a calm voice, which is a thing Charlie Kirk regularly did, does it cross the line at a public school, or is that what happens when you have a public forum? That's a legal question, but it's also a philosophical one. Just because you don't require members to put on a white hood doesn't mean you're not promoting racism. You know what I mean?
Right.
And by the way,
and also I think the right has a really fun habit of being like, well, this is what racism is, and we're not doing that. Racism is wearing a white hood and burning crosses. Anybody. We're not lynching people.
We're just telling them they're lesser.
We just simply think that black people cannot possibly be as smart as white people.
Also, we want a different plane. And by the way, Rebecca Warner, that senior, she also said later, I have complete respect for their political ideologies. I wish that they would have respect for my identity and for my existence.
They don't. They can't. They won't. And you're smarter than they ever will be.
Also, at that school board meeting, during public comment, where Garrett Culp spoke about his club, there were other people who spoke too, including parents. And one of the things they said to the school board is you're complicit and you're hypocrites.
Yes.
And this is what one parent said. 2 months ago, I listened to you cut an ethnic studies class that hundreds of students had already signed up for that you paid $60,000 in curriculum for. You took it off because members of the community who said, I see some of them here right now, said it was divisive. So surely you can disband a club that is equally as divisive for free.
Wow.
And another student who's a former valedictorian of this district or the high school in it, devaluing civil rights efforts by MLK Jr. is a slap in the face to every student in the school district. It sends a horrible message that nonviolent protest and standing up for your rights is inherently meaningless and will not enact social change. It dehumanizes and belittles those who fought for equal protections and treatment under the law.
Wow.
That's from Quest Rhodes, who is the former valedictorian of this school.
Quest Rhodes?
Right? Badass.
Oh my God. I can't wait for President Rhodes.
I don't know if the school's going to disband the club. I don't know if legally they have the right to do that.
I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing to do.
But after all this happened, Andreatta issued a statement on social media.
Out of context, out of context, out of context.
She wanted to apologize to her daughter. Here's what she wrote. I want to publicly apologize to my daughter. Her story is hers alone, and I should not have shared personal details about her trauma.
Yeah, dog.
To be absolutely clear, I did not say that trauma causes homosexuality.
Ooh,
I never said that,
did.
nor would I ever say that or think that. I was referring to a very specific personal experience.
Where my daughter was turned gay from the
Right.
trauma.
Right.
I'm not saying that's how it all works, but my daughter, for sure, the one who experienced trauma. Did I tell you about her?
Right.
My daughter, I'm going to use her for some political points. She experienced trauma.
By the way, where
And
did that come from?
lesbian, so-
I have to think her daughter called her up and was like, what the hell?
Disinvited to Christmas lunch.
And that's what led to this. I think that's what led to this. I apologize to my daughter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because she definitely did not come to that by herself.
Yeah. And also she said in that same long statement that, look, I'm not sharing my views. I was trying to explain to all these kids what Charlie Kirk's views were. Here's what she
Because
said.
that's my job now as the mayor.
Yeah. I repeatedly clarified that I was not giving my own personal views, but rather responding to questions about what Mr. Kirk has publicly stated while encouraging students to seek full context and make up their own minds.
Oh, make up their own
But
minds.
she was very much giving her own views a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yes, part of it was explaining what Kirk said, but then she had a responsibility, if she felt it, to explain why he was full of shit, and she didn't. So it's natural to assume she agrees with it. By the way, she only said of the MLK references in this apology statement, given the opportunity, I would have said clearly that I disagree and believe Dr. King's legacy stands on its own moral authority. Thanks.
If she had been given the opportunity,
Yeah, which she was,
which
and
she
just
was
didn't
just
say it.
standing in front of people. Like, was there a teleprompter we missed?
Yeah, my favorite part of her long statement is this line. Until now, no one has ever accused me of being racist, homophobic, or hateful because that is not who I am.
Well, also, you have to know non-white and non-straight people to be accused of that. And I do
Right.
not think she thinks she does.
Or maybe it's because as mayor or city council member, no one really gave her the opportunity to talk at length about her beliefs on these issues. Turns out, when you hand the worst people a platform, they often say really stupid shit. And in this case, we have video proof of it thanks to one good child.
It truly is just these days, it's harder and harder for people to get away with this kind of bullshit of like, oh, I never said that. It's like, oh, ma'am.
We have the screenshot.
There's literally thousands of cameras at any given time pointed at
By
you.
the way,
We know.
if your statements were out of context, as you claim, please tell us the context. I want to know why there's nothing wrong with being gay or trans, or why you do support diversity initiatives, or why atheism should not be treated any differently from Christianity, or why church-state separation is the foundation of our country.
Yeah.
She won't do that.
No.
Because she absolutely believes the wrong side of all those things.
Correct.
Right? By the way, one last thing. She apparently said to the students, and this was not in the 6-minute Sacramento Bee excerpt, but she apparently said in the full version of the speech, which I have not found online for what it's worth.
Really?
But she said her lesbian daughter was a fan of Charlie Kirk.
That feels like a lie, but it could be true.
So on Monday
feels
of last week,
deeply untrue.
she released that written apology. I'm sorry to my daughter. Shouldn't have shared that trauma story.
My daughter who loved Charlie Kirk.
She then released a separate video statement to clarify that. Here's what she said. It was wrong for me to say that she loved him or that she was a true fan because that's not the case. Which I think means... she posted the apology and her daughter called her up again and is like, did you tell people I like Charlie Kirk?
Can you find her? Can we have her on the show, please?
I'm not going to harass this poor woman who has enough to deal with this mother.
I want it though.
But I wish that phone call was available.
Oh boy.
Uh-huh.
Oh, maybe it's a text and we can get a screen grab.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh my God, that's so fucking funny that
the moral
she
of all
keeps
of this.
throwing her daughter under the bus and her daughter's like, stop it.
For once, I listen to what you said because it's in the news. Have fun at Christmas. By the way, this woman was not taken out of context. She was quoted accurately. And the problem for her now is people are finally realizing, oh, you've always been like this.
Yeah.
And much like Charlie Kirk, she's not engaging in good faith debate.
Right.
She's just repeating right-wing talking points.
Right.
And that doesn't make anything you say better.
My new favorite thing is watching people cite made up sources or like statistics. And it's always like men being like, do you know that 90% of women only work so that they can attract the attention of a man? And there's something I love about
Citation needed for that one.
Yeah, there's just something I really love about like, how'd you pick that number, bud? Did you hear it somewhere or is this just from whole cloth?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just a thing I think about.
Different story altogether. This one is good news, maybe, in a way. Okay. We've talked about city council invocations, and like usually when we talk about them, it's because some city has invocations. And then the question is, are they denying people an opportunity to give them? Because the law
usually,
at this moment is you're allowed to have city councils invocations. That's legal. But if you're going to have invocations, they must be open in some fair way to members of the public. So if you want to do a first come, first serve, fine.
Yeah.
If you want to ask different religious belief background people to deliver it, that's fine. You just can't force one view on everybody all the time, anything like that.
And we are of the opinion that these should not be a thing because they're a waste of time. And obviously, as we've seen, lots of money and expertise.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it, make sure
just
you're
do it the right way.
Yeah, make
Open
sure you're
it up
following
to
the law.
everybody. And that means, you might have a satanic invocation. You might have a humanist invocation. That's what you get if you want to have open invocations.
And if you have any sense of right or wrong in your entire body and you feel uncomfortable seeing a Satanist give an invocation, then maybe...
You're welcome to the club here.
Yeah, maybe you should use that sense of empathy and think that...
What do we have to deal with when
every time you guys do your fancy Christian bullshit?
So that's where I'm going with the story. To make sense of what happened, go back a few months. There was a Pride Festival that happened in Texas in Tarrant County, which is just west of Dallas. And it turns out they were looking for a spot to have this. It wasn't like a parade, but they wanted a place to have like tents and to have like a festival of sorts. And so it turns out there was an Episcopal church, St. Martin in the Fields Episcopal Church, that said, we'll let you have it on our property. We have a lot of property here. Why don't you have the festival on our land? And that was it. The rector, who's the lead, like the priest of this church, his name is Alan Bentrup. He said, have the festival over here. Like, well, we're happy to have you. And it was a one-day event. Pretty successful. There were over 140 vendors, food trucks, activities for kids, and there was a family-friendly performance from the drag artist named Madame Lexical on the schedule.
Madame Lexical?
Yeah. Now, before the event took place, Republicans claimed that this drag performer espouses violent language against conservatives.
Oh, yeah?
Because this person has opinions on things.
And what was the context of those comments?
Don't know. And you know what? It doesn't even matter because the organizer said this person is singing, quote, one age-appropriate song that she often sings at interfaith concerts. That's it. So, like, if you want to go back through her social media history, who cares?
Yeah.
She's here for one reason, and it's irrelevant.
And you can super just not go watch her sing if you're having a problem.
But the Tarrant County GOP chairman, his name is Beau French. Here's what he said.
Beau French?
Yes.
That sounds like an anonymous online name.
He made it clear, nope, this is what we're going to aim our targets on. He said, there is no place in civil society for this kind of violent degeneracy. Leftists, and specifically the mentally deranged, quote, trans community, have declared war on the right. It is time all of our leaders, from the Trump administration down to the local level, put a stop to all of this immediately. We should not allow the continued incitement of violence by leftists towards the right.
Incitement of violence?
Right. I mean, to be clear, right-wing people are far more violent.
I think they just don't know what a death drop is in drag culture, and they
don't know either.
Oh, it's the thing where they like just sort of splat onto the ground. With like their leg. People know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, I've never been outside.
Show you.
Even the mayor of Keller, which is the city this is taking place near, Armin Mizani, he weighed in with an insane post on social media saying the city is not involved and does not condone this event, but that the performances, quote, suggest an agenda aimed at exposing children to inappropriate, highly sexualized content.
This is a death drop.
Oh, interesting.
They just sort of flop on the ground.
So
Here, I can show the
this
camera.
mayor was saying this is highly sexualized, and no, that wasn't going to be the case. That wasn't the case, but it led to a lot of threats against the performer and the organizers, and they dropped Madam Lexical from the schedule, they said, for Lexical's well-being. So I don't know if that was a mutual decision or what. But for what it's worth, the pastor, the rector of the Episcopal Church, he wasn't spared either. He said in a phone interview after the Pride Festival that after the Pride Festival was announced, he received numerous threats and a barrage of furious phone calls.
Wow.
One of the threats, said Bentrup, included a photo of him with the skull and crossbones. Another included an old photo of his now 15-year-old son with the person making a threat accusing Bentrup of being a pedophile.
Oh my God.
And
sorry, we're the drag queens are the ones bringing violence?
Yes, that's the problem here.
Interesting.
But despite that, minor controversy, he still fully supported the event.
Good for him.
For his part, Bentrup said he's expecting protests and the church has public sidewalks where people are free to exercise their First Amendment rights. He said, quote, "I can't wait to meet them, talk to them, and offer them a glass of water."
This is what allyship looks like.
Bentrup said when he discussed the Pride event with the vestry, the church board, everyone approved of the idea. Quote, "We want to be a good neighbor. We opened up our space just like we do for scout troops and HOAs." Right?
HOA?
Housing.
HOAs have parties?
They have group meetings or whatever. Anyway, he seems fine. He seems like a decent dude, right?
Yeah.
He was also, coincidentally, on the schedule to deliver the invocation at the Keller City Council on December 16th, shortly after all this. And wouldn't you know it, he shows up at the meeting to deliver the invocation.
In drag.
Not in drag.
Oh, God damn
and the
it.
city officials say, "Hey, haha, wouldn't you know, we accidentally double booked the invocation. So, you don't get to deliver it."
With these digital calendars these days, it's really hard to keep
double
track.
booked it. And when the invocation was delivered that day, it was from a council member, not some random other pastor they happened to book. And he's like, "I requested this opportunity because my mother is sick." Which...
Wait, hold on. Did you request this opportunity because your mother is sick, or were you double booked? Because those aren't the same thing.
Or that's
getting bumped.
That's essentially an admission that this guy wasn't double booked. He was just shoved off the agenda.
That's literally
by
what
a
I
council
just said.
member,
Those
right?
are exactly my words.
I didn't get what you said. Anyway, everyone apparently agreed to this.
Yeah.
Right? And so Bentrup, who is now at this meeting but has nothing to do,
and is in full drag in my imagination.
yes, he spoke during the public comments section.
Wow.
And one of the things he did, first, he praised the police for handling the threats against him and making sure the Pride event ran smoothly.
Okay.
He also said that when he raised the threats he received with the mayor, he largely dismissed those concerns.
Oh.
And on Facebook, he posted the invocation he planned to give, which was Christian at its core, and also called on council members to make decisions that, quote, "bend toward justice, tilt toward mercy, and lead toward peace."
That's pretty good.
Had they allowed him to speak, I don't think anyone would have noticed. It's a pretty standard Christian invocation. But instead, they silenced him, and now they've created a host of problems for themselves, mostly because the mayor even admitted, "Nah, it wasn't double booked. We just booted him because we don't like him." Here's what the mayor said.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, seriously. Here's what the mayor said on social media the day after. "Delivering the opening prayer before Keller City Council meetings is a privilege, not a right. It would be irresponsible for the Keller City Council to elevate an individual to lead us in prayer who offended a large majority of our residents when he recently welcomed children to attend an event that exposed them to male drag performers. We will not apologize for or equivocate on this decision." As he stated, he was allowed, as all residents are, to share his thoughts during public comment, which is his right. Anything beyond that is at the discretion of the council, and the decision was made not to elevate someone who is out of step with the majority of our community and its values. In Keller, we will never
lawsuit incoming.
In Keller, we will never condone threats or violence, even in the face of deep disagreements. At the same time, we are unapologetic in expressing our beliefs and stand firm in our convictions. But like you noticed,
smell a lawsuit.
He basically admitted doing the illegal thing.
You guys have to stop saying the quiet part out loud, you dum-dums.
Yeah, because you can't just not allow someone to deliver an invocation just because you don't like their views. That's literally the one thing you can't do
And you need
if
to
you want
give
to have
yourself,
invocations.
I hate to give these people tips, but you need to give yourself plausible deniability.
Right.
Like, don't put anything down that is like,
He posted
LOL,
that
we
shit
super
on
didn't
Facebook.
want him to do it, and we made up the laws.
Because of being out of step with the majority of the community and its values is the concern. They can use that criteria to ban atheists, Muslims, and apparently progressive Christians
This guy is a
from ever delivering an invocation.
Christian. Like, they're not even Christianing right. How fucking difficult is it for these people to just sort of live and let live?
They're going to get themselves sued because they can't help but confess to their own crimes. Now, I will say Mpromptu, for his part,
Mpromptu is the priest?
He's the priest. He does not appear to want to fight this very much.
Come on, buddy.
I know. He posted a response to all this simply saying, they lied to me about being double booked. And then he dared them to explain which of his values go against the community. And I will quote this. This was good. Let me ask plain. Oh, my invitation to offer the invocation was rescinded by the mayor because, I've been told, my values do not align with the values of this community. So let me ask plainly, what values don't align? Love? The conviction that every person bears inherent dignity and deserves safety and care? Support? Showing up for neighbors who are hurting, including those who have made threats against me and those who protect us from harm? Care? For people who are hungry, unhoused, refugees, or struggling to survive? Respect? The belief that disagreement never excuses dehumanization and that civility matters in how we speak about one another.
Wow.
Justice, working so that our shared life bends toward fairness and equity for all. Community, the belief that our communities are strongest when we widen the circle of belonging rather than shrink it. I moved back here because this is home. My kids go to school here. I volunteer at their high school, sit in bleachers at band competitions and sporting events, donate money to pay for field trips, and lunch debts for kids I will never meet. I care about this community and those who live here. I've dedicated my life to caring for this community and those who live here, ... Does that not align with the values of Keller? If offering a prayer grounded in love, dignity, care, and respect for all people disqualifies someone from praying for this city, then we should all ask what community values really mean here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is...
And what
Dang.
And the mayor responded to that post.
Really?
And he basically responded by how Mpromptu sought out the media as if people on the, like, you just want attention.
Oh, unlike Christians who never want attention.
Or
they just
send a letter to right-wing mouthpieces when you get a failing grade.
They just want to quietly pray at the middle of the football field in the middle of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's their own prayer, okay, Hemet? Jeez.
Here's what Mpromptu said, the good guy. I have no complaints that I didn't get to pray. As you say, that is your right. What I object to is that you had a city staffer tell me it was a scheduling mix-up. If you stand firm in your convictions, you should stand firm in your convictions. That's what I'm doing. To which the mayor responds, and yet you, sir, sought out the media and rushed last night to post on social media, despite you having no complaints, that you didn't deliver the opening prayer. So yes, we will be absolutely clear about our position and continue to stand firm on our convictions. Which is like... another confession, which is like another confession, like, yeah, we said no to you because you suck. What are you going to do about it?
And in case mad at you for
and in case anyone missed it, I'm doubling down on that with another comment.
These dum-dums.
So here's where we're at. We have a conservative city council that punished a man of faith, which I would call actual religious persecution. And all the MAGA cultists appear to be fine with it because none of them have actual principles other than let's use our power to hurt anyone we don't like. Like the right thing to do would be get rid of the invocation altogether.
Right.
The next,
no, but this is more fun.
If you're not going to do that, then let's fight this because they're power hungry and they don't know how the law works.
I do love giving conservatives the opportunity to show their entire ass. I think that's always a welcome thing that we should seek more of. Like, I like when they say the quiet part out loud. I like when they've decided that, like, they are above reproach and therefore they can say anything they want. And I don't know, I guess... and there still aren't consequences.
Yeah. Let's talk about one more thing here. Last thing is we haven't talked about her in a while. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So apparently,
which one is
Sarah Huckabee Sanders sent an email to state employees basically saying, hey, y'all, you have some days off it's the holidays.
Cool.
She wanted to tell them they would have Christmas Day off and the day after off, which is fine and not weird at all.
Yeah.
But she told them they should use their time with their families, quote, giving thanks for Christ's birth. Which is totally inappropriate.
Does that mean I have to go into the office?
Apparently, like, just if she issued it like it was a proclamation from her office, like she's doing everybody a favor that only governors can do. But like, whereas more than 2 millennia ago in the little town of Bethlehem, this goes on for a while. There's a lot of whereas clauses, but she says, therefore, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, governor of the state of Arkansas, by virtue of the authority, blah, 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 hereby proclaim December 25th, 2025 as
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day in the state of Arkansas.
And I'm so glad she finally declared Christmas Day in Arkansas.
And in order that state employees may spend this holiday with their families giving thanks for Christ's birth, I further declare the state capitol and state offices will be closed Friday, December 26th as well, ... Okay. So there you have it, state workers who are not Christian. Take a couple of days off, you Muslims, and honor Sanders' God. Got that, Jews?
Really important to you.
Needless to say, it's totally...
She's going to knock on your door and be like, who are you praying to right now?
Yeah. It's completely inappropriate for a governor to issue a proclamation pretending that her faith is factual by proceeding with all the whereas clauses. It's also unnecessary. She can just say, hey, all, you have 2 days off. Go have fun. However you want to do it.
If I were governor, that's how I would order a pizza. I'd be like, whereas my tummy is rumbly, whereas I like sausage and mushroom and onion. Whereas,
taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing Sarah Huckabee
and it's
Sanders,
always in like script
knowing
calligraphy.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who like spent tens of thousands of dollars on like furniture in her office, that would be a very expensive pizza too, I'm sure. Now, for what it's worth, the Freedom from Religion Foundation sent her a letter just saying, don't. Because I don't know what else you're supposed to do at this point. But they said the proclamation gives a detailed theological narrative presenting core Christian doctrines, including the divinity of Jesus Christ, his crucifixion for the sins of mankind, his resurrection, and his anticipated return in glory as government-supported facts. We request
his anticipated
that in the
return.
future you refrain from using your position as governor to promote your personal religious beliefs.
Yeah.
You are free to practice your religion in your personal capacity, but you cannot abuse your position as a government official and use government resources to demand state employees spend Christmas giving thanks for Christ's birth or proclaim it as the official position of the state of Arkansas that Christian mythology is true. They also said, maybe think about others this time of year. You serve a religiously diverse state that consists not only of Christians, but also Jewish, Muslim, atheist, and other non-Christian constituents. When you promote Christianity through official actions, you needlessly alienate those constituents, ... I
don't know if needless. I think that's her absolute point is to make people feel less than.
They also asked her to rescind her proclamation and avoid making similar ones in the future. And Sanders responded with calm and respect and said it would never happen again. And I'm kidding. She flipped out and she's like, why are you persecuting me?
Oh, is that what persecution is?
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget because I don't see it very often.
She said, I will, quote, do no such thing. She said, you missed the point of my proclamation.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And what's the point? Wait, what was the point?
It was not to browbeat readers with Christian doctrine, but rather to point to the humility of Christ's birth. And to the amazing fact that the King of Kings was born not in a palace or temple, but in a humble manger, ... This is a woman who defended Trump for 4 years as his press secretary, or a good chunk of that time as press secretary. And she's like, excuse me, I only care about the poor, not rich people.
Truly, is she trying to get one over on us and be like, see, so when we don't give parents the resources they need to have healthy young babies, they're probably going to grow up to be Jesus.
Uh-huh. And then she also said, though you may enter this season with bitterness.
Calm down.
Know
ma'am.
that Christ is with you and that he loves you, ... So
I hate that passive aggressive bullshit.
I know.
It's
Bless
so
her heart.
obnoxious.
She accuses FFRF of bitterness because they reminded her how her job works instead of letting her cosplay as a preacher, which she wants to do but is not allowed to do because I think they're Southern Baptists. before trying to convert the FFRF lawyers by falsely insisting Jesus died for them.
Sure.
She also said, like, excuse me, I am not alienating non-Christian constituents.
Oh, hit me.
Because just today, I came back from a menorah lighting ceremony.
Is that the end of the sentence?
That's basically the end of the sentence. Like, so what? Trump is a Christian nationalist who occasionally will pay lip service to other religions.
Yeah,
but doing the bare minimum for some other group doesn't give you the right to promote your personal faith.
So stupid.
And by the way, Sanders shared that letter on social media this week while
because
suggesting
she's the hero of this
she's
story.
the hero. While suggesting FFRF was trying to make her ignore the meaning of Christmas. She said, Christmas isn't just a holiday. It's the celebration of Jesus Christ's birth. Meaning matters. We won't pretend otherwise.
We won't pretend otherwise. You've never pretended to do anything besides be a good person. She's never pretended to do anything. She pretends to be a good person. She's not. She's a bad person. I hate her.
By the way, we talked about her again in 2023 because she also used her office. Do you remember when she bragged about how her kids
I almost brought this up. Do you remember that she lied about the cross? Her kids definitely didn't draw in chalk. She said her kids drew a cross in front of the governor's mansion. And it's like, I don't know that your kids drew this. Oh my God. I couldn't draw that. And I'm a 40-year-old lady.
But also, if to go to your point,
my fine motor skills are at the top of their form.
To talk about, does she really care about the poor? She okayed a voucher program to send millions of dollars to private religious schools at the expense of public schools.
Sure.
She fired the state library board because they're not doing enough to ban books.
Sure.
She's like her father. She doesn't care about church-state separation. She doesn't think a line exists at all. She just wants to use her position to promote her religion.
Arkansas has a persistently high infant mortality rate, recently reported at around 8.2 deaths per 1,000 live births in 2023. So she is thriving.
Yeah.
Congratulations on
I don't know
letting
why
children die.
It shouldn't be courageous to say any of this.
Third highest in the country.
There you go. A governor's not a preacher. Proclamations are not sermons. Arkansas is not a church. And if you can't deal with that, resign and find another job.
Because you know what? There's lots of mega churches out there who will gobble this shit up.
Right.
Like, you have places you can go for
None of them will
money.
let her be a preacher. But
Fair.
There are other denominations.
That's a good point. But truly, like, it's not like this is the only platform these people have.
It is funny that a lot of those churches are like, yes, support her. We love you. Also, you should be at home.
Truly, like, you can't have it both ways, right?
Yeah.
You can't be a woman in politics and then pretend to be a conservative Christian because, bitch, you should be having kids.
More kids.
Barefoot and pregnant.
There you go. I'll stop there for now.
I have a headache.
I know.
That was rough.
So what are we going to talk about in the last bonus of the year?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, next week is our Garbage Year in Review, so look forward to that. It's always a long episode, and Hemmant complains about it.
Yep.
I'm in the middle of making Christmas Eve dinner, so that's all I'm going to be talking about.
All right.
And
I'll probably
I feel
talk
like I
about
did something
Christmas
else.
plans too. I'm not even sure. I'll tell you all about the Diddy doc.
Oh, cool.
Finally finished it against my will.
Against your will? That's like, the Karen Reed doc. It was the same thing, but I was like, this is hard, but I need to finish
No,
it.
this wasn't.
You can email us, Hemmant. Go ahead, do that spiel.
friendlyatheistpodcast at gmail.com. Please go to patreon.com/friendlyatheistpodcast to support this show. If you like it, it's the end of the year. You can give us that Christmas present if you want.
Hey,
leave us a review on all the things. And
all right, this is from Joe72348. 5 stars. This podcast is well researched, well presented, accomplishes the rare feat of thoroughly covering church and state separation issues while also being professional, entertaining in a way that I would be happy to recommend it to even religious friends and family.
Hey.
Hemmant and Jessica, keep up the great work. Thank you. That's very nice. Recommend us to your friends.
Go do that.
Maybe that would be good for everybody. All right.
Yep, we'll see you in the new year, but we'll have the Garbage Year in Review next week.
All right. We will see you then.
See you soon. Have a good holiday.
Boy, this is a sloppy ending. Bye.